Hello and welcome back to Netscraps. My name is Nellie Koenig and we have been working on the 30 days of sketches. I'm hoping you guys might have a little bit of an idea of what this is all about. If you don't, please hit the description, head over to the Facebook page and Christy at 30 days of Sketches Christy's Beautiful Life some love, because she has an awesome page over there. Today's sketch is a double pager and I believe this is our first double pager of the series so far. I'm just having a little flick back through the photos and I believe it is. I was really drawn to this sketch. I loved that little strip up the top and I just went hell for leather. Now, if you've been following what I've been getting up to, this flowery patterned paper up the top there, guys, is paper I've been hoarding. I've been using it very minimally. I love this paper and I just went, what the hell, I love it. I'm going to use this paper on this page, and I tore it and I'm like, enough saving, and went for it. A little bit of a spoiler alert, that doesn't stay there. All good intentions aside, it does not end up staying there. Now, I love the sketch, I love the idea of the sketch, but the more I kept trying to play, and here I am trying to use that last big piece of this paper up, and I don't want to use too much of it because I do love it, and it's about this point that's only a few minutes in, like I'm thinking I've got this right at the start, I'm acing it, I'm no worries, it's going to come easily, and then at about this stage I'm like, hang on, that's not looking right, it's looking way out of proportion, and I had planned to use these pieces and this is the way it was going to go, and I'm suddenly realizing things are not going to go the way I want on this page. That happens, guys. Look, I do like the end result. It's missing elements from the sketch, it really is, but I do like the results I got at the end. So I'm going to keep working with this, working with that strip. I'm starting to think here that I need to get my photos down in size, but I really didn't want to go tiny on these. I didn't want to go really, really small. They're really beautiful photos of the bridesmaids, and I'm struggling. I did start off with a photo of the party and the bridesmaids, but then thought I needed to have just bridesmaids. So I do go and reprint some photos somewhere along the line. And you can see here I'm ripping that paper and it's getting smaller and smaller, and I'm taping off bits and pieces, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get my elements to stay on the page. I hope you guys will stick through with me to the end to see how I do get this all to work, and I hope you will enjoy it, seeing me struggle. If nothing else. Now, I may need to just take a little bit of footage out here and there because this one seems to be really long, but I think that's part of the struggle. Like when you can't get something to work, you struggle, and it takes that much longer. Here I've got a, it's like a see-through piece of vellum, and I was trying to create something where I could stick some twigs of some flowers in to make a vase. So there's an element in that bottom right hand corner of a sprig of flowers with some tape and stuff over them, and I am trying to replicate that a little bit, but I find that in the end that jar is quite a bit too large. It's just some of that stash that's laying around. It's not close to my heart. Those that have been watching my channel know that I do use a lot of close to my heart stuff, and I love close to my heart. I am a close to my heart maker, but I do have other stash here, and I think this is the perfect time when I am just creating for my sake to use that other stash. And you know what? We don't have to be exclusive. We can be inclusive. We can have a bias to our own stuff, but we don't have to use it to the detriment of our pages. So I do find that majority of the time I can create what I need with my stuff, but I have this other stuff here. I need to add it in and I need to use it up. rather than being a scrapbook hoarder, we need to be a scrapbook user. So here we go. Here I am creating with some dies and bits and pieces. I'm going to create a whole kind of sprig of flowers, and that is from the Cosette range, which I had pulled out to do a previous page, or the next page I do. Previous I believe. So it was already out from that. Now, this is a Christmas stamp from last year, and it has a vase, and it also has some pieces of fernery, not fernery. What do you call it? Come on, guys, help me out here. Somebody's yelling at the TV right now going, it's this. Greenery maybe. And you can see here, I'm kind of splitting that open, and I'm trying to create that kind of look of the stems going into the vase and disappearing in there. So we're creating that at the moment. In a moment, you'll see me accidentally snap that vase in half, much to my discharging, and that's not even a word, discharge, much to my horror. We do manage to be able to get it to go back together with minimal notice, and it kind of did help because it looks like there's a little bit of water in the jar after I did that. And that little vase that I made earlier, I will top in behind just as a little bit of layering. Where am I off to next? Yes, putting these all together. Now, because some of these elements are very tiny and I want them to go sort of tuck into that vase, what I'm doing is I've put a glue dot down on a piece of sticker paper, and I'm popping all those elements down, and then I am going to add it to the page and add the jar over the top. That saves me from having to try to get them in a arrangement that I like on the page. Here I'm bringing in a second smaller photo, so I've kind of gone for one smaller one and the larger one, or that one is it's not even really large, it's a 3x4, so but that is veering again away from the sketch. I'm still trying to persevere with that beautiful paper strip across the top, but I am finding it more and more difficult. Now, I do try to stamp a title. I cut the footage of me making the title out and let that go, because in the end I didn't do it, and I thought you guys didn't need to sit through that kind of crazy. Here I'm doing a little bit of a splattering in the background. I cover 93% of this up, and that's okay. It shows out just a little bit here and there. I do end up going and do some splattering with a shimmer brush as well, but I did not realize at the time that I was going to end up covering the majority of it up. Here I'm going in with the shimmer brush, so I'm going in with the Mist, I think it is, and also the Mulberry, which is the purpley pink color that's in the photos. Now, while I'm talking about the photos, these photos are from Morgan Lee Photography, which is the professional photographers that did my nephew's wedding. I do have pages coming up, guys, that are not wedding photos. I think not the next layer, on the next two are, but then I've got some photos that aren't wedding photos for a couple of days. So yeah, that's just the way it's rolling at the moment. What else can I tell you? Yeah, so now I'm just going to build this cluster. So I'm going to now cut forward to when I've got sort of the photos on, and we get going on a little bit of embellishing. So I am bringing in some stickers from the different sticker sheets there. So I have now Forever and Always and Forever Now is the two collections. Oh, it gets so confusing when they're so similar. And so I've bought in, you can see I've bought in a few different things here, and I'm looking also at stamping that title there. That doesn't happen either. That gets put away. I am going to put away all that stuff, and then I'm going to pull out a few different stamp sets to get a few little bits and pieces. The first one is Memories, which I'm going to pop up on the top of those photos. And then I believe I also bring in a banner and stamp this right here. So that is, I think, from one of the travel album retreats. Now, if you don't know what an album retreat is, they are fantastic. If you need a themed album that you have lots of pages for, the album retreats are amazing. So you'll get lots of pages. I think there's about 12 double page layouts, maybe more. Don't quote me, please, people. Don't write in the comments and say you don't know anything. And they are themed, and you get stamp sets you can't get anywhere else, and embellishments, and it's all pre-cut and ready for you. It's a bit like the old Cut Aparts series. They are amazing. Now, you did see I stamped that banner just on white paper, but I want to give it a little bit of depth and look like it is a banner after all. So you see me there, I just used a Post-it note to do the ends first, which made the ends darker, and then come back in and blend it from the outside in, giving it a feel of variance in color across the top there. It's a cheap trick to get a stamped banner to look just a little bit more like a real banner. So hopefully you can take those ones and use it. Laying up a few clusters here, and I'm really struggling with where this one is fitting on the page. It looks to me like it is just all too cluttered and filled in. I'm trying to get sort of 3 embellishment clusters around those photos, and you can see me sort of building those in. I'd used an old sticker that I'd cut up to have a little bit of difference in color, and you can see here, this is where I finally go. That top section is just distracting from the whole rest of my layout. So I have pulled it off, and I have changed its size, and I'm putting it in just as another layer in behind those photos. So I have lots of little torn layers in those photo mats, and I think that that was a really good decision, because in the end it allowed me to build around that, and I wasn't getting distracted by what is on top. I can't wait to see what everybody else has done with this layout. I can't wait to see how they've adjusted or used that top strip. I was really drawn to it. In the end, it just did not work for my layout. Here I'm doing trying to put a tag up the top using one of the zip strips. You see me just quickly trace a little tag that was in one of those die cuts. Now, the die cut kit that you see there on the left hand side, that was a special, I think several months ago. It could even be 6 months ago, and you could get different sheets with different die cuts in them, and I've used them heaps and heaps and heaps. They are so handy, but I do need to get them and put each individual color in like a little bag or a little container or something, because the more I'm using them now, the more tangled each of the colors is getting, and little bits are falling out here, there, and everywhere. So I must do something about that. I did bring in this more peachy color, which is not a color I've actually used anywhere else in the album that I'm doing wedding photos. I've done heaps and heaps of wedding photos, but I haven't used that color anywhere else. But in this page, it needed something in those 3 kind of embellishment clusters to make them pop a little bit. So that's why I chose to bring that color in here. Also with that little heart that's over on the right hand side too, that blended in as well. So I've got 2 kind of the elements of this sketch. I've got the little bit down in the right hand corner. I've got the layers underneath the photos there. I don't have a big title. I don't think, but there's some elements. So we're getting really close to having this finished, and to finish off, I need to do a little bit of border. I have matted this up onto a little bit of that sage green paper, and then I'm adding a silver border around. I did try add like a little white border on top of that. It's a very fine detail. Didn't have quite the pop that I wanted. So just around the outside of that printed paper, I'm doing a very fine black line. Now, even on camera here, you probably won't even be able to see it. It is very fine, but it just helps those 2 layers pop just a tiny little bit. You might see it in the slow down and the close up. A few gems, guys, to finish off. I haven't even told you guys to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Done. Tick. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Please let me know what you think. Let me know, should have I kept that strip up the top? Let me know if I should have just changed it all up. Oops, no slowdown, guys, just a still photo. I will see you guys on the next one. Have a wonderful day. Bye.